Hey guys, I'm back. I am doing February readings for you. This one is going to be for Aries. I have all of my decks. I have my Oracle deck as well. And I'm just going to jump into your reading. I am going to kind of incorporate the last reading that I did for Aries as well as I'm going to try and do with all of the signs because it's interesting to see where the story goes, how you've progressed. And that's kind of the audience that I want to attract is, people who are really interested in self-progression and self-work and, looking at the finer messages within the cards as they go along their journey. So the one thing that came in Aries reading last was there was this element of work-life balance that was happening for you and wanting to achieve great things and wanting to do good things and kind of feeling misunderstood on your path a little bit, and also the element of home and the people within your home and your community, whatever you consider home, whoever you consider family. And there was also this element in trying to achieve your greatness in what you do and what you love. There was also this element of feeling like you're not yourself or having to be someone else entirely as you're trying to get along in your work, which we equated was pretty much exhausting. Here I have pulled for you out of the Oracle deck the Transit card. Transit. This is about the climate energy that goes on around us, energy that we really have no control over. It's kind of the universal clutch that just allows the universe to work in its ways around you. And often, I like the way that the book compared it to an energy and a feeling is imagine a total stranger just walking into your house and like helping themselves to something in the fridge, or like kicking their feet up and laying out on your couch with their dirty shoes, something like that. And it's like you have no control over that. It's just something that happens within your environment. And with the Transit card, it's really, really about how we choose to work within it. Are we going to choose to be adaptable in this situation? Are we going to become victim to it? And I think to a degree for you, Aries, you're starting to see, it's almost like a light bulb moment clicked, where you're starting to see that, wow, I really don't have control over what's going on around me. However, I do have control over myself in the situation. And if I recall previously, there was this element of like not feeling heard. And I felt like that was mostly at work, and maybe at home a little too, but also the people in your home not feeling heard as well, or your friends, or your family, whoever they are to you. Mercury is on the bottom of the deck here. Hold that nice and close so you can see. Mercury is all about how we communicate with other people, especially when we're putting forward ideas, thoughts, philosophies, our projects. 333. It can also have a lot to do with reaching out and networking. This is a huge network card as well. But it's also really important that what we are communicating is being received correctly on the other end, and vice versa. Are you listening as much as you are speaking? I'm going to start doing this reading. Underneath that, okay, is also, we have, I just want you to know what's under here, resources. That's the second house, your resources. And underneath that is Leo, shine. I feel like these are going to be important in your reading as we go along, and I will explain as we go. Ultimately, I think the overall message here is you are really, really taking into consideration now your work-life balance. You might be even reevaluating what it is that you do for work personally. So let's just get into this reading. I'm going to use my tattoo deck because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? It's a pretty deck. King of Wands. The one thing that I got is, I think to a degree, like you realize that the situation you were in wasn't really working anymore. Okay, Judgment is on the bottom of the deck. And you may be seriously considering how you put yourself out into the world now, and predominantly with your creativity or your work, however you make your money. But I can see that there is this element of ambition with this card. Personal ambition. I'm going to take Judgment out too. Two of Cups. Eight of Wands. Oh my goodness. The Tower. And the World. Okay. I'm just going to set that down for a minute. I get the sense that there was likely some very swift communication that happened here, but also I feel like there might have been this like sudden aha moment or realization that what was working is no longer working. It's like the cog and the wheel and the mechanism, it was just turning and turning and turning and turning for so long. For so long, so much invested hard work. And I think that the reason it wasn't working is because you're supposed to ascend higher to what you're doing. It's almost like being overqualified, okay? And maybe not everybody recognizing that, but it's interesting because this moment that we're having here, ultimately, I feel like this in part was, you know, a divinely intended Tower moment, but it's almost like you had the spiritual aging behind you and the spiritual maturity to know that that Tower moment is necessary. And so there's this, I feel like there's this embrace to it because there's the World after. There's like, yep, okay, I'm ready to start opening up and receiving what is truly mine. But I think that how you go about receiving, there's going to be a reevaluation of that. There's going to be a reevaluation of that. I feel like somewhere along the way here, there was this like fork in the road and hard left. That's what it feels like. Like, whoa, no, I know this path is no longer good for me at this point. Boom, hard left. No regrets. Peace. That's what it feels like. And that could very well have to do because you're like, I have no control over what's going on around here, but I have control over myself. Yeah, the Hanged Man is here on the bottom of the deck. And Justice. Okay. This realization that you had to start looking at things from a different perspective, that the perspective that you had here, what you were holding on to so tightly, remember in the last reading that I did for January, okay, there was this unhealthy bond, the Devil came up. And I think now there's been this realization that that table that you were trying to sit at maybe just like isn't actually for you. You don't fit in there. Your vibe doesn't work there because you're on a whole other vibe. It's completely different. Completely different. I want to take these cards out. Justice. The Hanged Man, I think, is a big, big, big thing right now. You realize that you need to be looking at things from a different angle as far as your success. And not only that, I think also your work-life balance. Maybe you're like, how do I work for myself? How can I work from home? How can I, you know, evaluate and use the resources that I have to have the life that I want, to be able to be present for the people that I care for. Oh, the Chariot. Oh, there's a bunch of cards here. Okay. There's the Two of Cups again. I think that you chose love. What do I mean by that when I say you chose love? I feel like too often people look at the Two of Cups as like a relationship card, and that's great, and you can go ahead. But I feel sometimes like the two is about a choice, and it's about love and emotion, and you choose love. Love for yourself honoring yourself. I think there was a decision here to honor yourself and your own stability. Four of Wands. I think that you are willing to reevaluate what you consider stability. That's 10-10. Reevaluating stability. Yeah. Seven of Wands. How can I get to where I need to go in a different way? Okay. This is not working anymore. See this guy hopping from log to log to log through the water, hoping to God he doesn't fall in? I think you're focused on a new path now. It's almost like you're sneaking away from a situation, but not sneakily. Like, that was terrible. Not sneakily, but like not with poor intent. But the realization that the cog and wheel in the machine is like leaking oil. I don't know what else to call it. Three of Wands, the Moon, and the Knight of Cups. Three of Wands, the Moon, and the Knight of Cups. You may have walked away from something, or you realize that you need to walk away from something. And if you haven't done it yet, I feel like you're kind of like with this Three of Wands here, like you're ready to send your ships out to survey the land. Okay. You're not just going to be the fool and jump haphazardly into something else. You're like, no, I know this cycle is done. I'm going to send my ships out, see what's out there, and maybe reevaluate how I can do this from a different angle. What's underneath here? We also have, okay, so we had the moon here again. Or no, this is the first time. Sorry, the moon. There is all I can take from this moon card right now, honestly, is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 34, is that there is an element to something that you're not seeing. I don't get anything with it like that, just that there is a bigger picture. I think we also talked about that for Aries in the last reading that I did, and that was kind of like stepping on the mountain, considering yourself like on a cellular level. You're small, right? And if you step up on the mountain, all of a sudden you can see everyone else on their cellular level, and it's like there's your family and there's your dog and there's your house. And if you go up even higher on the mountain, then all of a sudden you can see the town. And if you go even higher to the stratosphere, all of a sudden, you can see the entire world without borders. And that was about understanding that there is always a bigger picture at play that you might not even be conscious of. You might not even be aware of it. That's something I think that you need to think about right now. 1331. There might be things that you aren't considering that are going on behind the scenes. Okay? That I feel like are opportunities that are available to you if you want them. Because after that came the Knight of Cups. This has to do with, consider like a youth and who is all heart space, just constantly coming from their heart, working from their passion and their dreams constantly. Although the funny thing is, it's like their intuition is not completely solid yet. And that might be, you might be feeling like your intuition is not speaking to you clearly about something and you're not really trusting it at the moment. And again, that could have a lot to do with just this energy that's going on around you that you have no control over. There's no volume dial to this card. It can either be full volume and huge changes, or low volume and itty bitty tiny things that really aren't that big of a deal. But I picture you like standing back and like watching things as they happen. Not making your move yet, and that could be part of sending your ships out as well. It's like, I'm just going to stand back. I'm going to observe for a little bit. I'm going to observe what's going on before I make any moves, right? Seven of Pentacles. Before you go, you know, planting your seeds, you got to know where to plant them, right? That's what the King of Pentacles would do. King of Pentacles is an excellent business person. But there's, I think, some fear. There's like this fear of the unknown, what you don't know. That's not safe. That's not secure. That rattles me a bit. I don't know that I like that. Well, then ask yourself why. Why does it rattle you? What about it scares you? And I think part of this also has to do with how you project yourself into the world. I almost feel like you want to become independent. Let's switch up the decks a bit here. Let's elaborate more on this story. Get a little bit more information. Because I feel like there's this, like you're standing on a cliff and you're like, I have ideas and I have things I want to do, but it just feels so uncertain and so unstable and so insecure. Well, what about it is it? If there's something that you want to do and you're like, but I don't know how to do that, teach yourself. Gosh, the internet is like a wealth of free knowledge. And while it's not all correct, you know, vet your shit. Start looking at things. Oh, I'm going to take it. It came out upside down. No, yeah. Actually, it did come out upside down. It's the Two of Cups again. Fear of the unknown. Okay. You might be considering, like I said, walking away from something else, but it is the fear of the unknown. I almost feel like it's like choosing yourself, but on an insanely drastic level. And that's why it feels so maybe insecure a little bit. Yeah, look, Two of Swords, upright on the bottom of the deck. You're like, if I can't see it, I can't count on it. Have some faith, okay? Because the universe always works in your favor. It never works against you, even through those hard lessons. So this might be about having a little faith, and you honestly, based on your last reading, have probably felt a little disconnected from yourself, like your oneness with yourself, your spiritual side, what keeps you grounded, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and so you're not trusting your intuition. You're not trusting your intuition on something. Nope, that doesn't feel safe. The fact is, you have all of the tools within your arsenal to do whatever the heck you want. All right? Whatever you want. You are a manifester. You are a leader. You are Aries, right? Got that in the last reading too, because I'm fucking Aries, right? Like, own that. Own that. I'm Aries, or whatever your name is. You know? Own yourself. I think this is like, what do we have? What do we have? Oh, look at that. The Tower again. And the Wheel of Fortune. And Temperance. And the Magician. You are like, I feel like there's a little element of self-doubt. And I think that's because you've had to be, you know, playing the role of so many people for so many different people just to keep them happy in pursuit of your happiness, that, look, you got a lot of good karma coming to you, I think. All right. And the universe is acknowledging that you have the means to do it. You just have to believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself. You can do anything you want to do, right? I saw this video on the internet the other day, and it's this little boy, and he's like convincing his mother that she can do anything she wants to do. Maybe she can live in the White House someday. Maybe she can be the president. You know, do what you want to do, Mom, because nobody can do it but you. And that little kid just touched my heart so hard. So hard. And that's what this feels like. But you've got to trust, first of all, trust yourself, because if you don't trust your intuition, that's a form of not trusting yourself. Okay, that comes from your gut. Maybe do a little bit of meditation. You know, get a little in touch with just your own quietness, whatever you do to ground yourself. 2020, 2022. There is, I feel, an opportunity here. Like, you know, the machine is leaking oil. This is about having faith in yourself, okay? And you could very well do whatever you want. You have the resources to do it, okay? This card, as well as the Magician here, I find them to be very similar cards. They have the means to do what they want. But it's, you can do it. It's the confidence, okay? Find it within yourself. Like, get in there. Maybe along the way, you've worked so hard to, like, get to the top, and, you know, it's just been defeating. Don't let it defeat you, okay? Consider how you will put yourself out there. How are you going to sell yourself? How are you going to get people's buy-in? Whatever it is, 2111. That's important. That's really important right now. And you can do it. Network. Talk to people. These things start slowly. They start real slow. I want to see what else we have. Oh, some cards fell out here. What is this? Oh, these just fell out. All right, so look. The Seven of Cups. This is about the catalog of life and, like, anything, your options, what you can choose from, and you know they're there. You know they're there. You have to choose to want to reach them. And I think you're at a point where you're really considering a whole new path now. But of course, being very discerning, you're not going to jump off the edge or anything like that. It's like step by step, baby steps, 2211, baby steps. It's about sending your ships out, having a look-see. You don't have to jump out of the boat or jump into the water, okay? But your future is literally on the horizon. That was 2222, okay? Last messages for Aries. I'm trying to keep these readings shorter. Last messages for Aries. If you feel like you're trying to communicate to people and they're not listening, like, it's just the energy right now. It's just the energy. I feel like you've been trying to talk for a long time. 10 of Wands. I think you've also got the 9 of Cups here, and this is, I feel like, you've been focused. Well, you think you've been focused on the progression of yourself. I think really you've put far more work into others than into yourself, and you're like, oh my God, what has this done for me? How is this contributing to my wish fulfillment? Is the burden worth carrying? There's the Fool on the bottom of the deck. Is the burden worth carrying? You know, but there is this guardedness. Like, the Queen of Swords is guarded and discerning, and you may have to sacrifice something in order to move in that direction, okay? And that might be, I'm trying to get a good focus, that might be really the hardest decision. You're like, I've been here for so long, I've been doing this for so long, I have poured everything I have into it. There's this real focus on what you could lose. And if you maintain that mentality, you will have a lost mentality, 2424. What you don't realize is these other cups behind you, which also can be considered resources. But what you don't see in those cups behind you, all right, is the Hierophant, the 10 of Cups, Judgment. Okay. The potentiality. Again, that's Seven of Cups here. This is about the universal catalog for you to choose from. It's big. It's a big catalog. It's a scary catalog. But ultimately, to have those things, yeah, there's going to have to be a little sacrifice. But then again, if you're here watching this tarot reading, asking yourselves these questions, you know, you probably already realize that the energy that you've been investing into, that you don't feel like you're getting back from, is just robbing you of your energy, is no longer for you. There's just this fear about what's out there. Lots of pages, cups, swords, wands. This is about being on the brink of something new. 2555. Okay? And it's about, I think, in a big way, reigniting your passion. You may feel really bogged down. You felt bogged down for a while. You feel like you're talking to a brick wall most of the time, okay? And you're really considering cutting ties from that and refocusing on a new path completely of your independence. Okay? How are you going to communicate that? How are you going to communicate that? That's the important point here. Again, I would also say in your last reading, the one thing that's coming back to my memory now is when we are making big, drastic life decisions, let's make sure that we're also communicating to the people who love us, who we are responsible to, and who are responsible to us as well. Your life partners, whatever, family, however that applies, okay? Because that was a big thing last time. And I think the reason you've come to this point is also because you realize the importance of those relationships, and that they care about you and love you, and right, they look up to you. Like I said, lots of people love you. Lots of people love you, Aries. Okay, and I think that's at home for you. And I think you're finally at this point where it's like, okay, how can I stand on my mountain? How can I look at all the things, despite this chaotic energy that's going on around me? How can I change my future? Excellent questions, Aries. All right, friends. I'm going to love you and leave you. That's your reading. I got to go make dinner. Okay?